To discuss all of this, our international affairs commentator Doug Herbert joins us now. Doug, how much does all of this mean to Emmanuel Macron, him being president of the European Council at this time?
Sharon, it means everything to him. Emmanuel Macron politically lives and breathes Europe. You'll probably remember that he celebrated his election win in 2017 to the strains of "Ode to Joy," the EU's anthem, the official anthem. And he bristles in general at the sort of what he sees as petty nationalism and populism that is all too pervasive as he sees it these days in Europe. So he's taken this very, very staunch, his critics would say over the top sort of stance, embracing the EU, going, full tilt on everything EU related. And this is all part of that. Look, France is for the next 6 months, the head of the EU's rotating presidency. It's a role that France has not had in 13 years because it's a rotating presidency among all 27 members. And he has planned, believe it or not, over 400, I didn't get that wrong, 400 events throughout this presidency involving European officials and visitors and so on and so forth. A lot of those, obviously, because of the pandemic, will be virtual, but it does go to show how much he is staking on this EU presidency at a time where, let's be frank, being a pro-European EU champion is not politically, in some people's view, the way to go. It could be even seen as very unpopular, especially in the more nationalist circles in Europe, those countries which are looking inwards and retrenching more than ever. So you could say it's going out on a limb politically in a way to embrace the EU to the extent that Macron has, but he is sticking to his guns.
It's a very busy 6 months for him. The two leaders then meeting today, also a packed agenda for them during that meeting. What are the big ticket items, Doug?
Oh, they're endless, and I don't even know how they're going to have time to get through half of them. But look, there are a few main themes here. One is the theme of this sovereign Europe, a Europe that is more autonomous, has more strategic autonomy, is more powerful and influential on the world stage. Then you have the sort of social growth angle, the economy, everything that has to do with Europe becoming more prosperous and stronger economically. And then you have the human angle, the human level, humane policies. So take that all together. What does that translate into? Well, it means they're going to be talking about, concrete things like reforming the Schengen zone, the rules governing the external borders of the European Union, but also things on climate change policy, such as a carbon tax. Emmanuel Macron, very much a proponent of imposing the EU's environmental norms on foreign companies that want to export their goods, services, and products to the EU. On the social level, I talked about the human plank. He wants to have a sort of a minimum wage in Europe. That is a living wage that would be considered adequate by European standards. That at the moment doesn't really exist, at least not in the form Emmanuel Macron would like to see it. And also, reforming, obviously, budget rules. That's probably a much bigger issue. And tackling issues of migration, which Europe years and years and efforts later still has no harmonized migration policy, much to the chagrin of people like Emmanuel Macron and others. So it will be a meeting symbolic, yet at the same time very substantial, concrete, nitty-gritty issues that these two leaders are going to want to get down to. But like I said, he has more than 400 EU events planned, so there'll be plenty of time to hammer out the details on a lot of this agenda.
And Doug, as well as those 400 events, he's also, we presume, about to start campaigning to remain in the Elysee. Can he do both jobs?
Yes, he can. Obviously, his critics will say he cannot, say that the EU is going to get in the way of his substantial responsibilities as a French president. But look, for Emmanuel Macron, there's zero incompatibility between being the rotating president of the European Union and being president of France, and even the prospect that he's likely to run again. He sees the EU and France as having shared values, their ideals being closely intertwined. One goes hand in hand with the other. So where his critics say he's overloading his agenda and he's going to be sort of snubbing French and his own compatriots in the name of some broader, more sort of amorphous EU ideal, Emmanuel Macron says that's hogwash, essentially. Obviously, he's not using the word hogwash, that I can do them and I will do them both. So it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. I'll note that, as he entered the EU presidency a few days ago, he put the EU flag onto the Arc de Triomphe on the Champs-Élysées in Paris. That drew a backlash from his opponents saying, this is snubbing France and France values. We're in France. We're not the EU. That flag was removed. Emmanuel Macron said it was supposed to be removed anyway. But you could just see how much controversy, just the mere fact that Emmanuel Macron puts himself out there as being so pro-EU, how much that serves as a lightning rod for his opponents heading into what's expected to be a very heated French presidential campaign.
France 24 international affairs commentator Doug Herbert, thanks so much for joining us ahead of that meeting